Welcome back to Freedom Kitty. My name is Catherine, and today I am going to be answering the question, what am I going to be doing with my early retirement? Because I plan to retire in 6 years' time at the age of 53. I'm currently 46, and a lot of people would think that's way too early to retire. You're going to get completely bored, and I can assure you I am not going to get bored. I'm actually going to explain how my life will be totally balanced. It's pretty balanced right now, but it's going to be even more balanced during early retirement, because I am going to be explaining how my life is going to fit into the 8 healthy components of a balanced life. So that's what I'm going to be explaining in this video. But before I do that, I just wanted to give you a little update on my last video. I was walking you through my monthly finances for last month and what came in and what went out of my account, and my complete disaster of how I ended up spending about £2,000 on car repairs. My car had broken down 4 times, and you are not going to believe this, but my car has actually just broken down again. It's currently in the garage again. I went to pick up my partner, I turned my engine off, tried to turn my engine back on, and it wouldn't start. My partner's dad came to help. He jump-started the car, managed to get the car working again because RAC was going to be hours and hours. So thankfully managed to drive it to the garage, dropped it off at the garage, and goodness knows what's wrong with it this time. This car is driving me absolutely insane. As I mentioned in my last video, I want to get rid of it. I'm planning to get rid of it. I just need this current house to sell, and then it's going to be gone. In the meantime, it's costing me a small fortune. I've had an extremely hectic week, and this was the last thing that I needed. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for all of your support. I get the most kindest comments on this channel. They're so nice. Yes, I do get some challenging ones as well, but I just ignore those, or I just laugh about them, or sometimes they actually do prompt some thinking in my head, and I think, yeah, they've actually got a valid point there, even if it is annoying. So I value all kinds of comments, but the nice ones are really nice to have. And people are giving me so much help and advice, and I wanted to thank you so much for that, because it's definitely going to help a lot. And I also just wanted to say thank you so much for the people who are giving me supers, actually giving me money, which is amazing. That is so generous of you. Thank you so much. You don't know how much I appreciate that. And it's really exciting that my channel had got half monetized, which meant I could accept supers and things like that. But now the most exciting thing is, I think my channel may actually be monetized. It's not officially monetized, but I think I've hit all the criteria. My last video that I published, I did the calculations, even though it's not updated in the official YouTube analytics, because it takes a couple of days to actually go through. It is showing me the stats on that actual video. So I was able to calculate that I think I've hit my watch hours, which you have to get 4,000 watch hours and over 1,000 subscribers to be officially monetized and able to make ad revenue from the ads that YouTube displays. So I think I've hit that criteria. It's not official yet, but I am so excited. So this is absolutely fantastic. It is so nice to be able to do something that you're absolutely passionate about, that also helps other people and also get paid for it. So that is just a fantastic use of time, in my opinion. And that brings me nicely to start the 8 components of a balanced life. So I think this is something that everyone should be striving for, no matter if they've got a job or they have retired. I think everyone should have a completely balanced life, because as soon as your life gets out of balance, that's when problems happen. That's when things start to deteriorate. That's when your health starts to go downhill, your mental health, your physical health. You start getting lonely because you haven't invested in your social life. Your finances go downhill because you're overspending and you're not looking at your finances properly. So it is crucial for everyone to be completely balanced. And I have been guilty of focusing too much on certain areas in my life. And I think I'm pretty balanced now. And I think when I'm retired, I'm going to be even more balanced. So let's have a look at the first component of a healthy, balanced life. And in this particular diagram that I found, it's called career, but I personally wouldn't call it career. I actually just had to pause the recording because the garage phoned me, and kind of good news, kind of bad news. I knew it was going to cost me money, but they have replaced the battery. They said, as they always do, that has fixed the problem. The car's all working fine. £180. So another £180 gone on this car. I'm relieved that they haven't found any more expensive problems, but who knows if that's actually going to fix the problem. I pretty much knew it needed a new battery anyway, because the previous garage said they had to keep charging the battery up every time they looked at the car, even though they didn't actually do any work on the car, they didn't fix anything. They said they kept on having to charge it up every time they took it on a run. So I kind of knew that the battery was probably not going to be great. I also know that your battery runs out a lot faster when you don't do so many long journeys and you do a lot of pootling around the town, which is what I do because I have a job where I go and visit clients, so I'm driving little small journeys all day, also pick up kids, drop them off, go to the shops, blah, blah, blah. I don't actually like driving that much, so that is that. That probably has caused it, but that's my lifestyle, so I can't really change my lifestyle just to save on my battery, so just going to have to roll with that and hope that everything's okay. So getting back to the 8 components of a balanced life. So yeah, number 1 is career, but I'm going to call it something else. I am going to call it purpose. And this is like your reason for getting up in the morning. This is the way in which you have a purpose in your life. Why are you useful? Why are you needed? How are you helping other people? Where do you get your sense of achievement from? Because if you don't help other people in life, you don't feel any satisfaction because you haven't achieved anything. You haven't put effort into anything that has yielded any kind of positive result. And I think this is actually a lot of reason why people's health goes downhill when they retire, their mental health and their physical health, because they don't have any sense of purpose left. And I think people absolutely need a purpose in life, whether they are working or retired. Everybody has to have a purpose. If you don't have a purpose, then you should get a purpose, because otherwise your life can feel absolutely meaningless. It feels like, what am I actually here for? There's no use for myself. You have to feel useful. So I've got many ways that I feel useful at the moment, and a lot of these will continue even after I'm not working a day job anymore. I feel useful because I have kids to look after, and even when they're adults, I still will feel a sense of responsibility, like I have to guide them, help them, be there for them. So that's a sense of responsibility. I also have aging parents. My dad is 82, my mum is 72. My mum has extreme health problems. She's severely disabled in many ways. They're trying to move closer to me so that I can help a lot more and support them. So that will be my purpose. But actually had to pause the recording again because I got a call from the doctor this time. So here I am back again. So I was just talking about how looking after family can be a sense of purpose, but I actually like to have additional senses of purpose that are not tied to looking after people, because I think sometimes looking after people can feel more of a chore, more of a burden, and you might not get as much satisfaction. Some people do. Some people are those caring type of people, and yes, I am caring, but I've never really been drawn to those kind of professions where you are like being a nurse, where you're just caring for somebody all day long. In my job at the moment, I help homeless people, and yes, I do care about them, but I help them with very practical things. So kind of like this video, I help them to be balanced. So this is what I do all day long. So when I'm not doing my job and I'm not helping other people to feel balanced, I will be doing this, continuing to do this on this YouTube channel. I absolutely love this YouTube channel. It is my passion. It is my purpose. It's what I get excited about. I'm always thinking about ideas. I want to create more videos. I probably would create 2 or 3 videos during my early retirement per week because I enjoy it that much, and I've got constant streams of ideas flowing through me, and I just don't have enough time to create them at the moment. Hopefully I'm going to go to 2 videos a week, but probably I'll go to 3, maybe even more after early retirement. But I don't want to burn myself out, and I don't want to replace my job with a new job, so I'm probably going to limit it at probably 3 per week so that I can focus on the other areas of life, which leads me to area number 2, which is finances. And we need to be balanced in our areas of finances, which is pretty much what this channel is all about: early retirement and finances. I can't say I'm a finance expert, but I'm definitely getting better as I'm getting older. I'm getting much more balanced. I used to have a spending addiction. I used to not know when to stop. I used to be in a lot of debt, and I'm much more controlled now. And I think it's because I actually dedicate time to managing my finances. I have certain slots. I actually look at my finances every single day, and I log my spending every single day, because what you focus on it really makes a difference. If you spend money and then you immediately go and log it in a spreadsheet and you see that the amount of money you've spent in that month has gone down and it's taken money out of the money that you have earned, it hurts. It's not a very good feeling when you see it decreasing your hard-earned money. And because it hurts, it makes you much less likely to want to do much of it in the future. So that massively helps me to manage my finances, is just to spend time. And then once a month, I have a ritual. On the first or a few days after, I will do all my finances for the previous month. I'll log everything that needs to be logged. I'll do my business finances. I'll do my household finances, which are pretty much done every single day, but I just finish those off. I'll do transfers in and out of the bank, put savings away, do my net worth tracker, and look at my investment report and how my investments are doing. And I actually really get excited about that. So I have replaced the dopamine hits that I used to get from overspending with the dopamine hits that I get from looking at my savings accounts and the interest that I've made that month on my savings, or how my investments have been performing, which is not always an immediate hit of dopamine, because you have to take the rough with the smooth when it comes to investments. But at the moment, my interest rates on my savings are doing really well, so that gives me that dopamine hit. So I think how to be balanced with finances is to actually spend time, allocate time for managing your finances. But another thing is to live below your means. If you live below your means, you will always have extra for emergencies. And I've had plenty of emergencies because I'm moving house and my car keeps dying, which is driving me insane. So if I didn't have those emergency funds, I really don't know what I'd be doing right now. So living below my means has massively helped me. Let's look at area number 3. Area number 3 is family. And not everybody has family. But if you don't have family, you can create your own family by making your friends your family. But I do think that family is very separate to friends, and that's why they've got 2 separate categories. So family, I see family as relationships in my life that I didn't choose. I didn't choose those relationships. They were kind of forced on me. Some are good and some are not so good. And that's the luck of the draw when it comes to families. And I believe, again, I've got to take the rough with the smooth. I didn't choose my families, and I'm really appreciative of those family members that I do get along with really well. And I also, like everybody else, have challenging family members. But I do see family as a responsibility. My family mean a lot to me, even if they challenge me, even if we have personality clashes. I still see it as a responsibility that we are tied through blood or through marriage or through relationships, and that family are so important. So even if family annoy me, I still see it as a responsibility of making time for spending time with my family. Even if I feel bored, irritated, frustrated, it is a big part of my life to make sure that I am investing in those relationships, because they do the same with me. I'm sure that I irritate people and annoy people as well, and I know I do. So that's just what it means to be a family member. So the next category is friends, and this is like the family that you do choose. So this is the nice relationships that you really enjoy. And if you don't enjoy spending time with your friends, then I would suggest go and get new friends, because it's within your control. So at the moment, I think I've got a perfect amount of friends or time with friends based on the amount of time that I have, which is not a great deal. But I think this is one of the areas that I will be focusing more on when I retire. I would want to spend more time with friends, because I really love spending time with people. I like making new friends, meeting new people, having new conversations, really getting to know people. That is one of my major passions and ways of having fun in life. A lot of people value travel over the other side of the world, but to me, I just want to meet people and have a good conversation and have a really deep conversation. That is the thing that I love to do the most. So I will be focusing more on joining clubs, meeting people, asking people for coffee, anything that will deepen a relationship with a new person. I will be doing that more in my early retirement. The 5th area of having a balanced life is personal development. Personal development is how you keep growing as a person, how you keep learning new skills and doing more. And this can be related to your job. When you've got a job, a lot of the time you do have to go on training courses, you have to learn new skills. So naturally people do a lot more personal development when they have a job. And this is something that can deteriorate when people retire as well. And I believe that we should be lifelong learners, that everything we do, we should be learning and striving and growing ourselves. I absolutely love personal development. I've done so much of it in my life, and it's really helped me to grow as a person. And I'm not going to stop doing it when I'm early retired. I'm going to read more. Reading is something that has taken a bit of a back seat lately. I used to absolutely love reading. I feel like I've read thousands and thousands of self-development books on all kinds of topics. I'm really into physical health, mental health. I've read thousands of books on business, mindset, spirituality. But I think what I'd like to focus more on is learning things, practical things like DIY, which is something that I've never been good at and I would like to get better at it. So I'd like to focus more on that kind of thing, practical things, more than the mindset things, which I used to focus a lot on. The sixth component of a healthy, balanced life is a very big one in my opinion, and this is health. To me, if you don't have health, you don't have anything. So this is actually my most important component of having a balanced life, because everything comes from health. I have had periods in my life where I have been debilitated in bed for years, and I've not been able to move, and I've not been able to focus on any of the other component of a healthy, balanced life. So everything goes completely out of balance. I've not been able to look after my kids, wasn't able to work, couldn't manage my finances, couldn't have a conversation, no friends, etc., etc. It destroys everything. So this, to me, is number one priority. And since I had those debilitating health problems, which were actually caused by undiagnosed celiac disease, which is a bit like a gluten allergy. It's actually an autoimmune disorder, not a true allergy. But since I have been eating a gluten-free diet, my health has completely recovered. I've felt better than I've ever felt in my entire life. I feel better than I did in my 20s. I have so much energy. I feel absolutely amazing, but I do put a lot of effort into my health to keep my health good, and I want to focus even more on this when I've retired. Since I started working, something has deteriorated. I used to go for daily walks, and this has gone downhill, especially because the weather has been absolutely awful. It's just like been torrential rain for, I don't know, it feels like 3 months now. It might not have been that long, but that's what it feels like to me. I live in Wales, and it's just been raining, and it just makes me not want to go out, especially in winter when I finished work and it's dark, it's raining. It's the last thing that I want to do. So I haven't gone on as many walks, but I have got a new hobby, which is going dancing. I've started rock and roll dancing. I've been going to lessons, I've been going to dances, and I absolutely love this. So that has been keeping my aerobic capacity improved. So I've not needed the walks as much, but walking is not just about aerobic capacity, it's also about the fresh air and the environment and being in nature. All of that is so important for your health. So I've really missed the daily walks. I'm probably going to start being a bit more balanced at work and start going for a very short daily walk during my lunch break. But it's not always possible because I do have very varied days, and sometimes I'm just out and about all over lunchtime and I just don't have the time to do it. So that's one thing I'm going to change. I'm going to go on daily walks when I retire early. I'm going to keep my dancing. I absolutely love it. I'm probably going to join a walking group because I used to join a lot of walking groups when I was younger. I haven't done this for a long time, so this will actually hit my need for meeting new people and having conversations and forming relationships, because you have amazing conversations with people when you are walking with them. I've met the most amazing people who have been really good friends. So I'm probably going to start joining walking groups and going out walking during the day, which I can't do at the moment. I could do it at the weekend, but life is just a bit too busy at the moment trying to squeeze everything in with a full-time job. It's not just about exercise when it comes to health. It's also about, well, it's lots of things really. It's also mental health. That ties in a bit with the self-development. But there's so many things you can do for your mental health, making sure your stress is balanced, making sure that you're not too stressed, reducing the stress in your life. But I don't think we should completely eliminate stress. I think we need a certain amount of stress that gives us that purpose, that gives us that drive, appointments that we have, commitments that we have, promises that we make to people. It gives you a certain amount of stress, but I think that's actually needed in life. I think we need a certain amount of adrenaline to keep us going, to keep our bodies alive. So keeping your mental health in check, but also food. The food that you put in your body is absolutely critical to maintaining your health. because of my health problems, and I didn't know what was wrong with me for most of my life. It was only when I was 40 that I was diagnosed. So I spent 40 years experimenting with different diets and trying to get my health back, and not knowing why my health was deteriorating. So I've done so much experimentation with food, so much research into nutrition and healthy eating, and I feel like I've got it pretty much down to a T at the moment. Eating healthy is so important. It's what keeps your body young. It's what gives you energy, what keeps you alive. It keeps disease away. It's so critical. I'll do another video on this if anybody's interested, but this is basically my principle of healthy eating. Every single snack or meal that I eat, I make sure that I eat fruit and veg with it, because it digests a lot better. It processes other foods a lot better, and it always provides nutrients which your body absolutely needs. It also fills you up a lot more because of the fiber, so you're less likely to overeat on junky foods. I also base my meals and my snacks on protein and either fruit or veg. I don't base my meals on grains. Yes, I am frugal, but I'm not going to be frugal at the expense of my health. We absolutely need a high protein diet, especially as we're getting older. Studies have shown that the RDA is not substantial to prevent injuries, and we need protein to help us maintain muscle. Yes, you need to be strength training. In fact, on the when I was talking about exercise, I forgot to mention, I don't know how I can forget because it's such a major part of my life, but I do go to the gym 3 times a week, and I do strength training 3 times a week. While I'm at the gym, I also do stretching. So they're also very important parts of my exercise routine. So going back to the protein, you do need to do it in combination with strength training. But even if you can't do strength training, you still need to have much higher protein than everybody thinks. And it's very, very difficult to get enough protein. Most people's diets just aren't set up for it. So you only give yourself a fighting chance of getting enough protein if you base your meals on protein and veg. And that's about 80% of my diet is protein and veg. And the rest of the 20% is fun. It makes my meals fun. It makes my snacks fun. I have a little drizzle of chocolate sauce on a yogurt, or a little sprinkle of cereal, something that makes my food tasty and interesting and gives it a bit of texture. So I'm not going to be completely 100% healthy, because this doesn't work either. You're just setting yourself up to fail because you just feel deprived all the time. So that's how I make my diet more interesting with that 20%. I also love chocolate. I'm a bit of a chocolate addict. So that's where that 20% comes from. It mostly goes on chocolate. There's so much I could say on health. I used to have another YouTube channel completely dedicated to health. So I could talk forever about health, but I'm not going to, because that wouldn't be a very, very balanced video. And that is what the purpose of this video is, to talk about balance. So moving on to the 7th component of a balanced life, and that is fun. Everybody needs to have fun. I do have a lot of fun right now. Even though I have a frugal life, I have so much fun. It is so important to me to have fun. Even though health is my number 1 priority, I think fun comes up there pretty high. And fun is also incorporated with spending time with people. So it's not at the detriment of my relationships. It's including my relationships. If I don't have fun in my life, I don't feel like life is worth living, and I get down and depressed very, very quickly. I absolutely have to have fun in my life. I have to have some kind of excitement, something to look forward to. So fun is critical in my life. So these are the ways that I currently have fun, and I don't imagine that this is going to change. I'll probably and hopefully just do more of them, but I do want to have a balanced life. So I can't just have fun 24/7 when I retire, and because that just wouldn't be balanced, and it wouldn't be setting myself up for a successful retirement and longevity in life. So these are the things that I do for fun. As I mentioned, I do my rock and roll dance lessons, go to dances. In the summer, I do a lot of things with my partner. We both love spending time in the sun, outdoors. He got me into paddle boarding. We do that together. He's got an inflatable dinghy, which we go out on. It's just the most amazing feeling. It's so relaxing. Spending time with people, also getting exercise because you're rowing at the same time. It's just ticks so many boxes. You're getting that glorious sunshine. It's like relaxing. You can take it in turns to row. You can sit back and relax or have a bit of exercise. It's just fantastic. I just can't get enough of it. So we do that. I'm also going to buy a camper van as soon as this house sells. Won't be too long, hopefully. And I think that camper van is going to provide me with so much fun. I'm going to be spending my weekends with my partner, driving to places, staying overnight in beautiful scenery, waking up to beautiful scenery, sitting there making our food in this beautiful scenery, reading books, listening to music, having fun, could probably dance outside, drive to the dance lessons, stay there overnight, drive to the dances, go to the dance, spend the night in the camper van nearby, that kind of thing. Going on day trips in the camper van, taking the kids out for holidays in the camper van. Another thing I currently like to do is I like to go out for drinks. And I don't drink alcohol, I'm not a drinker. But I do like to go out with other people who are drinking because I like to be around people who are having fun. I like to go out, I like to chat with my friends, they can drink alcohol. Some people, it really bothers them that I don't drink alcohol, and those people won't be friends of mine because they don't want to go out with me. So it's not that I'm bothered about them drinking alcohol, it's that they don't like me drinking alcohol. So I'm going to have to find people who don't mind me not drinking alcohol, which hopefully I'll be able to find more of in the future. And I think as people get older, they naturally drink less anyway, so it's becoming less of a problem. I like to go out for coffees, go to a coffee shop. I don't drink caffeine. I'm a bit of a boring health nut when it comes to food and drink, but I will have a decaf coffee. So I do like the environment of coffee shops. I like to go to new places, day trips, and go to the coffee shop. I love going for walks. It's so much fun. I love to do it with other people. I'll do it on my own. I'll listen to a YouTube video, a podcast, listen to music as I'm walking. When I'm listening to music, I can be singing away as I'm walking, and I have a whale of a time. I live at the beach. It's amazing. I can't understand why people who live here don't want to be out walking at the beach every day. The only people who I see at the beach in the winter is dog owners, and they're surprised that I'm walking without a dog. They keep saying, "Where's your dog?" And I say, "I don't have one, but I'm just as important as a dog. I need to get my daily walk every day." What else do I like to do? I like to play guitar. I'd had a 20-year break of playing the guitar, and I got one for Christmas, and I'm playing it again, and I absolutely love it. It's just so much fun. Hopefully we're going to have more time playing together instruments and drums and things as a family. I also love to read. I don't do that much reading. I read a little bit before I go to sleep to wind myself down, but that's about it. But I would like to do more of reading. I also really like camping. We did a little bit of that last year. I think it'll be so much easier if we've got a camper van and we can put an awning out for the kids. I love having fires, campfires. We did quite a lot of that last year. We went to the beach and we built fires on the beach, and we toasted marshmallows. It was so much fun. We also had a lot of barbecues, which is another thing that I adore doing. I love to sunbathe. It's the only place that I truly relax, is when I'm lying on a beach and just soaking up those rays. I'll do anything on a beach. I love beaches. This is why I moved to the beach. And I also just like paddling in the beach, and I'll happily do this on my own. I just roll up my trousers and just take off my shoes, carry my shoes, and just paddle right along the beach, back and forwards, back and forwards. I could just do that all day long. It's the most calming, peaceful thing. So that's fun. You can probably tell I'm a person who likes to have fun. A lot of these things are free or cheap that I love to do. I don't see the point in spending a lot of money because there's so many free things out there that we can do that don't cost us the earth. And then the 8th component of a healthy, balanced life is spirituality. Again, another big topic. I actually did have another YouTube channel all about spirituality, but I don't do that anymore because I've actually changed my viewpoints on spirituality, and I no longer believe anything that I was saying on that channel. So pointless having that channel anymore. But that channel was like a period of personal growth for me. I kind of worked through a lot of things and a lot of beliefs that I had. When I was younger, I used to be religious, and I went through a period of being quite extreme about it. I had a bit of a hard time in my life. I didn't really see what the purpose was. I found the church. I found a family, which I didn't have. They took me under their wing, and I just desperately wanted it and needed it. And it was really good at that point in my life. But I had so many questions that the religion didn't answer, or couldn't answer, or didn't want to answer. And I just had so many doubts, and I just thought, this is just not for me. This religion is excluding people. It's making people feel bad about themselves, like they're not good enough, that they don't fit in, and I don't want that. So I'm still a very spiritual person. I don't find many people in life that share my spiritual viewpoints, although I have found quite a few people on YouTube who share my viewpoints, but in real life, I don't really mention my spiritual viewpoints very often because it just really gets people's backs up. They think I'm a bit weird, and I don't really care, but there's no point in having a conversation that people just don't want to get into. So if you're interested, I'll give you a brief overview, but I believe that I probably won't share the completely weird things with you because it's just going to take this video on another tangent. But I believe that everybody is exactly where they should be in life, doing exactly what they should be doing. And that can open up a whole can of worms in terms of, well, should evil things exist? And I actually think, unfortunately, although I don't want evil things to exist, that yes, they should exist, because life is only balanced when we have good and bad in life. There is no point in having a purpose of helping people if people don't need to be helped. So if everybody was perfect, everybody was calm, caring, and compassionate and behaved perfectly, there'd be nobody to help, would there? So there are people needed in every area of life to fulfill all roles in life. And that doesn't mean we sit back and do nothing, because I believe that we do what we are compelled to do and that we can't help it. I believe that whatever we take action to do is what we are supposed to be doing, and we can't help but do it. Yes, we can have regrets in life and think, oh, I wish I'd done that, I wish I'd done this, but really, how much of a choice did you actually have? We've got the illusion of choice, but is it actually a choice? And I don't want to send this video onto a completely different tangent by raising too big of a questions, but if you want to share your viewpoints, I would love to hear them. If you want to argue with me about your religion is right and my viewpoint is wrong, I don't mind. I am completely fine with that, because, as I said, I believe that everybody is in the right place at the right time. And that means that I accept your points of view. So I believe that your point of view is correct, because it is what you are supposed to be thinking and feeling right now. So that is why YouTube comments don't bother me. They don't faze me. Yeah, sometimes they irritate me. I am human. I get human emotions. But when I take a step back, I think, well, that person can't help it. They have that viewpoint, and there's no point in me trying to change it. I might change it, but I feel like I'll only change somebody's point of view if their point of view was supposed to be changed, if you see what I mean. So anyway, that is all I'm going to say on the topic of spirituality, because that's a bit of a minefield and I could open up a whole can of worms. Maybe I have opened up a whole can of worms. But if you want to know more about that, let me know. Maybe I could do a different video on that. Maybe link it to early retirement in some way. So spirituality, at the moment, I don't have a time slot allocated to spirituality. I used to. When I used to be religious, I used to go to church. I used to, read my Bible and have prayer slots and all that kind of stuff. And it was routines, and it was rituals, and it was spending time with people, and it was relationships built in and family built in and all that stuff. And I see the value in all that. I think there can be a lot of fulfillment that comes through that. But for me, it's not for me anymore. It doesn't fit with my beliefs anymore, so I can't make it square. And I am, the way my beliefs are now, I've done a lot of work. I've put in a lot of hours into developing my spiritual beliefs, and I'm extremely happy with them. I'm not saying I won't change them. Who knows? Maybe I will change them. But I've put in so much time and effort into them that I feel like they just permeate through everything that I do in life, and I don't really need to put a lot of more time and effort into them at the moment. And that's not to say that I shouldn't, because sometimes I think things can fade if you don't put effort into them. Like all the other things on my list require time, like a time slot, and I don't feel like spirituality for me requires a time slot at the moment. I do have time for thinking about it, because sometimes I can't sleep. I've had insomnia my whole life. It's the best it's ever been, thankfully, but I still do suffer a little bit from insomnia. And to me, I see that as my meditation time. I don't get stressed anymore. I just lie there and I just contemplate life and I think about things. And sometimes I do ruminate through things. If people annoy me, because they do annoy me, I might go for a walk and my mind will be ticking over and over and over, being annoyed. And then once I've calmed down, maybe after I've slept on it, my spiritual beliefs kick in again, and I remember that person can't help it. They didn't do it to make my life a living hell. They just couldn't help what they said. They're annoyed. They've got their own ways of being. I clashed with them. Whatever it was, they didn't do it just to hurt me. Or sometimes maybe they did. Maybe they did do it to hurt me, but again, that they can't help it. That's what I come back to. It keeps my relationships in a really healthy place. I just keep on being able to forgive people. I can forgive myself. I don't hold grudges against myself. I don't feel too guilty about things. Sometimes I do things I think, oh, I wish I hadn't have done that. That wasn't a very nice thing that I said. But then I apologize, and I just don't hold a grudge against myself. I don't keep on holding grudges against other people. I just let things go. And that is what keeps my mental health in a really good place, is my spiritual beliefs keep it in a really good place. So that is that. That is a bit of a minefield in that whole thing. So do you have anything that you would like to share? What are you retired? Are you planning to retire? What is going to be your purpose when you've retired? How do you think that's going to differ from what you do right now? What about your finances? How do you keep those in balance? How are you going to keep those in balance after you retire? Do you have a ritual with your finances? What about your family? Do you see your family as fun? Do you see it as responsibility? Is your family time consuming, or have they all moved away? Do you spend more time with friends now? What are your friends like? Do you need more friends in your life? How are you going to invest in more friendships after you've retired? What about your own personal development? How are you going to develop yourself after you've retired? What about your health? What effort are you putting into keeping yourself healthy? Do you focus on a healthy diet? Do you do, the 3 types of exercise, aerobic, strength, and stretching? How much fun do you have in your life? Is fun even a priority for you in your life? I've met people who couldn't care less about having fun, and I just can't understand that. But do you have fun? What is fun for you? Or maybe even fulfillment. Maybe it's not fun, maybe it's fulfillment. What does that look like for you? And what about spirituality? What are your spiritual beliefs? Even if you think of yourself as not a spiritual person, I believe everyone has spiritual beliefs. Even if it's like atheists, there's no God, there's nothing spiritual out there, I still class that as a spiritual belief. So, what effort have you put into developing your own spiritual beliefs? And do you think you want to put in more effort into that in the future? Or spiritual rituals, or, things that take time? So let me know in the comments. I am so curious to know all about you and what you focus on. How do you keep yourself balanced? And let me know. I love to hear from you. It's what makes my life fulfilling, and you are helping me to achieve my purpose, because it's given me that sense of connection with you, which helps to develop friendships and all that kind of stuff. So it's helpful for all of us. So until next time, have an amazing week. Take care. Bye bye.